Welcome to an edition of Cook, Don't Be Lazy. Today I'm going to show you how to make frijoles a la charra. I grew up in Texas where frijoles are a staple in just about everybody's home. It's more like a comfort food. Some people call it frijoles charro beans, but basically it's pinto beans with a lot of good stuff in it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our frijoles. This is a 1 pound bag. We're going to go through the frijoles and make sure that there's no rocks or any debris in them. If they don't look like a frijol, take it out. This one looks pretty bad. That goes in the garbage. Did I skip one? It's not unheard of to see little pieces of debris or little pieces of rocks in a bag of frijoles. Frijoles is pinto beans, by the way. I'm just used to calling them frijoles. So that took a few seconds. Only found one bad thing in there. What we're going to do now is we're going to soak it in water. What this is going to do is allow the bean to soften up. I'm also going to get some of the dirt off eventually. Just doing a little tossing here to try to loosen up some of the dirt off the beans. We're going to let that soak for a couple of hours. I try to do a minimum of 2 hours. The longer you go, the quicker they cook. But 2 hours is alright. So it's been about 2.5 hours with the frijoles soaking. The water's a little murky from all the dirt that's come loose during the soak. What we're going to do now is give it a good rinse. Rinsing these frijoles should be kind of obvious. We need to get rid of all the dirty water. Just give it a good rinse. You don't want none of that dirty water or the remaining dirt on the frijoles. What we're going to do now is transfer the frijoles over to the pot. I'm using a olla de barro, which is a clay-based pot. You can use any kind of pot you want. I'm just used to using this old school stuff. We're going to put enough water to cover the beans. You don't want to use too much water. Just enough to cover the beans. A little bit over covering the beans. We can always add water later if needed. So the next step is getting our water to boil. I'm going to set the stove to about medium high or so. While that's getting ready to boil, the next step is cutting onion. Might make a grown man cry, but hey, ain't nothing wrong with crying. Let it out. Lubricates the system. It's good to let it out every now and then. We're going to cut up some onion. Some bacon, we need some chorizo, we need to cut up tomato, and we're going to cut up some cilantro. So the first one we're going to do is our bacon. What we're going to do is we're going to cut up our bacon to little pieces. Don't be hating on my knife skills. I never said I was a chef. That's going to be evident later on when I'm cooking the, well, not cooking, but cutting up the onion. Easiest thing to do if you want to cut up bacon, pretty easy, is to have it semi-frozen, and it'll cut a lot quicker and easier. So we're going to do little pieces. Put that off to the side. We're going to fry up this bacon here in a minute. Just going to do a little prep work. I'm going to cut up some hot dogs. Some people use sausage. Sometimes I use kielbasa, I don't know how it's called, kielbasa. But a lot of people use hot dogs. Some people use them in bigger chunks. I like to cut mine into smaller pieces. We're gonna fry this up too with the bacon here shortly. These are just there's nothing special about these hot dogs. I guess you can use your all beef or whatever variety you want. I don't care. There's no exact science to this. It's all a matter of what you like, personal preference. Alright, so once they're cut up, let me get this off to the side as well. And let me do the onion. So again, don't make fun of my cutting skills. I never said I was an expert. Some of you might be screaming something about cross-contamination. Hey, you get sick, that's on you. This is home style cooking. This ain't got nothing to do with no restaurant quality cooking. This is straight from the house. Ain't no health department gonna come up in here telling me how to cut up my foods, when to rinse stuff out. I don't know, is it dangerous to cut up onion with bacon? I don't know. But I've been doing it a long time, never got sick from it. So I'm going to keep doing it. So we're going to cut up our onion, small pieces. If you chop your finger off, don't come crying to me. You ain't got no business in the kitchen if you don't have basic knife skills. And look at that, I didn't even cry. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, I ain't crying on this one. Every now and then you'll catch me shedding a tear cutting an onion, but not so much on this one. What else do we got to cut up? Tomato. Anybody like this part right there? I don't know, that freaks me out. I don't know if you're supposed to eat that or not, but it's gonna get cut off. Again, don't be hating on my knife skills. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna cut until they're tiny little pieces. Going back to the cross-contamination, you know, the way I see it is, it's all going to get cooked in the same frying pan here shortly. So I don't know if there is such a thing as cross-contamination when you're cooking it all together. How much bacon? How many hot dogs? How many onions? I don't know. Just eyeball it, I guess. I'm gonna use another tomato. So like I said, I'm just kind of eyeballing things as far as how much stuff I need. I guess experience over the years of doing this. I don't believe in the whole use 1 cup this, 1 cup that, and 2 tablespoons of this and 1/4 tablespoon of that. I eyeball everything. It's old school. Worst case scenario, don't come out tasting a-okay. Just adjust your seasonings. No big deal. The more you do it, the more you'll learn your portion amounts. But this to me looked like 1 tomato just wasn't going to be enough. The cilantro I'm going to cut towards the end, because that don't get put into the frijoles until the end. So I don't feel like dealing with that right now. I also need to get the chorizo. So this is the chorizo. I don't know what's in it. I just know it's called a chorizo. So I'm going to squeeze that out into a bowl. So I've cut open the casing, squeezed out the chorizo into a bowl. We'll use that in a little bit. I got to thinking, I don't think I have enough hot dogs, so I'm gonna cut up 1 more piece of hot dog, just to be on the safe side. Once I'm done with this, we're going to get a frying pan. We're going to start cooking the bacon first. My the water for the frijoles is already boiling. So let's get a frying pan out. So as you can see, the frijoles are boiling. I'm going to move this over to this burner. I'm going to put the top on it. I'm going to lower the stove to about a low medium. We're going to fry up the bacon. So one thing I realized is we almost forgot one crucial ingredient. Chiles. Some people like to use jalapenos. I don't have jalapenos. I've got a chile plant outside, so whatever it gives me is what I'm using. I'm not going to use too many chiles. I don't want my frijoles overly spiced, but I do want a small little kick to it. So I'm going to use 3 little chiles. I'll cut those up after I'm done with all this over here. So we're going to keep the oil of the bacon. You don't want to drain that out. That's just flavor right there. I know you can't smell it, but I can. It smells good. So one of the common themes, or one of the common phrases that I'm saying here in the kitchen is, don't be lazy. Can't stand a lazy cook. TV dinners, fast food, Cook. Cook. Don't be lazy. Not in this house. So what you can do now is start washing up, cleaning up. I've already done that. Don't worry, I did clean up after myself already. Don't be lazy, wash your dishes. Don't be lazy. You know what I don't like is going to someone's house and they got a pile of dishes in the sink from 2-3 days, even a day old. It's like, ew. Wash up after yourself. Clean up. Alright, so we don't want to fry the bacon where they're crispy. So now that it's nice and oily, I'm going to add my hot dogs. Get in there. And then next step is chorizo. Alright, so we're going to add our chorizo. We're going to smash that up. It's already smelling real good. I'm gonna let that cook in there for a few minutes. I don't know how long. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Now let me tell you something about chorizo. Chorizo and eggs, that's good stuff. You basically take your, you know what, I'm gonna save that for another video. I ain't gonna give away that secret. You're gonna have to watch that secret. Look at this, we almost had a, what I call casualty. Try to jump out of the frying pan. Get back in there. Yes, my stove is clean. I'm allowed, 5-second rule, okay? 5-second rule. Besides, that heat is going to kill off any germs. 5-second rule. Alright, so this is getting close to being ready. We're going to add our onion. Does it have to be in this order? I don't know. It's the way I was taught. I would think so. It makes sense. You don't want to put in the onion, start cooking up the onion, and then put the bacon in after. I have raw bacon with cooked onions. Talk about cross-contamination. So other people use different ingredients. There's no one special recipe for the charra beans. There's different variations. It's all personal preference. Let me show that to you. So while this is simmering a little bit, cooking down, I'm going to cut up my chiles. They're little chiles. I only got 3 of them. I'm going to keep the seeds and all. If you're using like a jalapeno, you may want to de-seed it. Is that a word? De-seed? I don't know. Take the seeds out of it. If you add the seeds to it, it might be a little extra spicy. So I'm going to use the seeds because I'm not using a big jalapeno. At this point, even though I ain't crying, even though you might not be crying at this point, cutting up your chile, go ahead and wipe your eye. Ain't nothing wrong with wiping your eye. Nah, don't wipe your eye. Not after you cut chiles. You'll definitely be crying. Let me rinse my hands off. You gotta rinse your hands off pretty good when you're dealing with chile. You don't want to make the mistake and accidentally scratch your eye, and next thing you know, you're crying. Go to the emergency room. Alright, starting to look good, smell good. We're going to add our tomato. Going to cook it down just a minute or so. The stove is about medium. I don't know, for you guys that have low to high with numbers in between, I'm at about 7 right now. I'm going to add my chiles. Some of these chiles didn't make it into the... There we go. Waiting game. Tip: you got little ones in the kitchen, don't walk away with the handle sticking out. Little one comes in, grabs it, it's over. Make it a habit of turning your handles to the side. Alright, so we're going to add this to our frijoles. going to put this back over to the bigger burner. Turn that one off. Stir it up. We're going to add seasoning, but not till a little bit later. This has got a long way to cook. In general, if you soak it for a couple of hours, I think it's about a, I don't know, 2-hour cook time or so with it boiling on the stove. You want to make sure you check it for water. You don't want it to dry up. So check it for water, make sure it's just covering the beans a little bit. But right now we're done for now. We're just gonna let it simmer. Put the top back on. I'm gonna put this on like about a number 4. We're gonna let it simmer. We'll be back in an hour and a half. In the meantime, I'm gonna check it every now and then. If it needs water, I'll add water. But I'm gonna use this time to clean up after myself, because I ain't lazy. Not me. So I'm gonna clean up after myself, and we'll be back shortly. So it's been about an hour or so. I'm gonna go ahead and cut up some cilantro. We're gonna add the cilantro here in a minute. On the cilantro, I'm not gonna use all this the stem part. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna try to use pretty much just the flowering part, the flower part. So I'm gonna slice it, dice it, chop it, whatever you want to call it. And yes, I've already cleaned up after myself. It's a clean board, clean knife. So I'm going to check the frijoles, make sure it's got enough water. So we're going to add some water to the frijoles. Give it a stir. You got to remember to stir the beans every 20-30 minutes. I don't know. You don't want the beans to get stuck to the bottom. So now I'm going to add the cilantro. Give it a stir. If you guys can smell this, it smells good. I'm going to add my seasoning. Basically going to use some seasoning salt, seasonal, seasoning salt, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Why the 2? Beats me. It's the way I was taught. I'm going to stir it. Let that simmer for just a little bit longer. Looks like it's pretty much done, but I'm going to let it simmer just for a little bit longer. So our time together is almost up. The frijoles are almost done. I think they're done. They've been cooking for about an hour, 45 minutes or so, hour 50 minutes. If you don't soak the beans long enough, your cook time is going to be significantly longer. So make sure you soak the beans. Let me serve myself a bowl. Oh, that smells so good. Alright, let's head over to the table. So after a little bit of hard work in the kitchen, this is what we've been waiting for. The taste test. Wow. That is really, really good. Wow. You guys have got to try this. Oh my gosh. And that right there, well worth the little bit of effort in the kitchen. Well worth it. That's why I say cook. Don't be lazy. Can't no fast food touch this. You're not gonna get this flavor from a fast food place. Don't be lazy and cook. Until next time. Don't be lazy.